let's do some tank top. Tank top. Have you been watching any prospects? And if you have, let's assume Mobley and Cade are off the board. Who's your dream prospect after those two for the Raptors?
Ooh. There's three guys that I love in this draft, obviously, other than the two guys you named, and that's Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Jalen Suggs, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
There's so many Jalen's. There's only two. Oh, there's Jalen Springer, or that's Jaden Springer. Jaden Springer. Yeah. But yeah, I love those three. In terms of what we need, the Raptors need obviously a 5, but other than that, they need shooting. They need some scoring help, at least off the bench. And you'd figure that, whatever rookie they draft, whether it's the 7th overall pick or the 2nd overall pick, that he's going to be coming off the bench. So I would love to see Jalen Green. I mean, I was watching him on the G League Ignite, and that guy, I genuinely think he's 19 years old. I think Jalen Green could have been in the NBA this year and has NBA level scoring traits already. Like, he could have been a pretty good NBA player this year. And I know that's crazy to say, but I mean, I genuinely believe it. He was playing a lot of guys in that G League that, are in and out of the NBA.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was scoring effortlessly.
I think he averaged 20 in the G League, and that's a professional league. So,
and that's insane. I love Kuminga. He looked really good on the G League Ignite as well. So for me, it's like those two guys would be absolutely fine. Jalen Suggs, do you really need? I mean, if Lowry leaves, maybe you're looking at another point guard or another combo type guard, to pair with Fred VanVleet and Malachi Flynn and whoever else if they bring back DeAndre Bembry. I don't know if he's on a 2-year contract or a 1-year contract.
I think 1.
So if they bring him back, but I'm a Jalen Green guy. I love his game. He is just an effortless scorer, and I think Toronto could do some really good things with him. And I think it's kind of unfair because I feel like a lot of people have been throwing the Cade talk around so much that if we don't get Cade or Mobley, people are going to be kind of bummed out until they realize, I think, how good some of the other guys are. The draft guys, I know Robel, who's a big Raptors draft guy, has been talking about those top-tier prospects for quite a while.
And Robel, I was listening to him on the Locked On podcast. He was also saying he likes Jaden Springer and someone else from Tennessee, I think. But from what I understand about the draft is, like, once you get past those top 5, and Robel thinks it's really a top 3, and then like 4 to like 12 are there's a lot of really good prospects. So to me, this feels like most likely the Raptors are not going to get a top 3 pick, and they're going to be more like in that 4 to 10 range. And I think this feels very much like a Raptors trade back kind of thing, where they see like two picks in like the 8 to 15 range. So what I'm about to say probably won't matter, but yeah, Green, I've been watching a bit of film. I genuinely think he could like one day be the best player of the bunch.
Yeah.
Because his upside is crazy as a scorer. Like the athleticism, the shooting, his upside is crazy as a scorer. But he's like so young and so raw. The dribbling's really raw. The passing's really raw. The defense is really raw. So I don't think he makes much sense for the Raptors who want to contend pretty soon. Yeah, assuming Lowry leaves, Mike, I would go Suggs because I think he fits nicely beside Fred. He can get to the rim, which Fred can't. Like, yeah, it's kind of a short backcourt, but Fred's a lethal shooter, and Suggs can get to the rim, kind of score at all 3 levels, play really good defense, and he can guard up a position, so it wouldn't really be a issue if Fred's guarding point guards. And I just like Suggs, like he reads the game at a very high level. Yes. He's a high IQ player. He would fit right into the Raptors system. Plays fast, like Gonzaga played really fast, and he led that charge, and the Raptors love to play fast. So I like Suggs after those top 2. Kuminga just like doesn't make sense for me because he's really not really a shooter, and he plays the same position as Siakam. So he's like a Stanley Johnson. We don't need any more players who like come off the bench and can't shoot and are athletic big men. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say about Kuminga, but I mean, Stanley Johnson's not it for me. So
I don't need to watch any more Stanley Johnson.
If Kuminga's coming off the bench for me, instead of Stanley Johnson and maybe instead of a Utah, I don't know if Utah's going to be here next year. I'm totally okay with that. I think length and versatility, as much as the Raptors do need shooting, length and versatility is something that any team, like, you can't really have too much.
Yeah.
Length and versatility.
Defensively, it would be crazy, the three of them together.
Kuminga can guard 2 to 4 with like ease. He's super athletic. He has a really good wingspan. I believe it's like 7 feet, something around there. I think I could see the Siakam in him, but I think he's a little better of an athlete than Siakam is, from what I've seen. Really good in transition, good in the half court. So I'm okay with Kuminga. I know a lot of people have watched the Raptors this season and they just immediately think big, big, big. Like, if it's not Mobley, it has to be, another big.
Yeah. I'm against drafting a big.
And I don't, look
at James Wiseman. I think the Warriors made a huge mistake. Like, NBA podcasts, I don't know how many you listen to, but like, man, first of all, be original. Like, everyone is talking about the Warriors now because one podcast does it. Now everyone's like, oh my God, we got to talk about the Warriors, how bad they've been. It's like, okay, man, be original. But like, yeah, Wiseman has been such a bad situation for them and he's so raw. And he obviously doesn't fit Steph's timeline, but like, you knew he was raw. So why did you draft him? It's just a confusing pick. Centers take a really long time to develop.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
I'd definitely not take a center, and then I would sign a free agent center because, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Me and a friend of mine, we always have this argument where we talk about if Wiseman was right for the Warriors, and he was agreeing with you where he said Wiseman wasn't. And I just feel like for me, that's the part I think that makes the most sense to me. Wiseman doesn't fit Stephen Curry's timeline, so why would you go there? They had such a need at the 5. Kevon Looney, I mean, he's a solid backup 5 for them, but he's not really all that. But I still do think Wiseman's going to be a very good player in the league. It's just going to take longer. He barely played in college.
Yeah.
Super raw coming into the league. Literally, this guy's a teenager, man, coming into the league facing grown men. So I think it's just going to take some time. It would have been nicer to see Wiseman grow with like a Minnesota Timberwolves, for example, where they could take it easy with him. I just think the game's moving too fast with him, with veterans like Draymond and Steph. I mean, it's great to play with Draymond, probably one of the better defensive players you want to learn from. But I mean, if the Warriors take, a LaMelo or whoever else, that's insane.
I think like teams are learning. Like, I think the Warriors drafted in the mindset that they can have the best of both worlds. Like, Wiseman will be a long-term piece who will be their next part of the future, but he'll also help this core win. And I think teams are learning that like doing that is really hard. You can, to balance winning and competing with also thinking about your future is almost impossible. Like, Philly's trying to do it right now without doing the Kyle Lowry trade. And I've been harping on them for the same thing as the Warriors. Like, pick a route and stick to it. Either rebuild and like go young and try to stay young and good, or like when you have a window, if you have Steph Curry or Joel Embiid playing at an MVP level, go for it. But staying in between is the worst thing you can do. I really think they're going to trade Wiseman this offseason and that pick and get a player.
We'll see.
Yeah.